Now let's suppose you've got your cucumber and it's on your germination tray, and as you can see it is just starting to sprout, some of them. And so the next thing that you need to do is to put it on the dirt. So we have over here Motley Crue's The Dirt by Neil Strauss, and we're gonna just put that over there and use our prigger, whatever, pencil it out. The younger the better. So we're going to pick these up and we're going to put them into their new home. You can see it is germinated, and then over here in its new home it can start to turn green. We'll of course put a couple of these little dudes. The earlier you move them the better. So a couple of them over there. We just don't want to move any that ain't germinated yet. So we put the magic fairy dust, right? Sprinkle the magic fairy dust over the top in order to make it work. Great, and then we're gonna water that one, setting that over to the side of the nice, beautiful windowsill. Okay, and then to harden it off, of course, you put it outside, but not when it's teeny tiny gonna be eaten by birds. Don't wanna be eaten by birds. We also have our chard, which is germinating lovely. We have our kale, which is sprouting. We even have pumpkin that is sprouting, so we have a lot of things to move. So it's a good thing we've prepared all these little planters in advance, so we're ready to go. And of course we want to just do this assembly line fashion, nice and quick, one after the other. Just grab a couple, bam, and plop them in. Okay, planting couldn't be easier. I mean, God does most of the work for you, glory to God. There we are. Should just go nice and quick. And we have it on Motley Crue's The Dirt. We are using it for what it's good for. We're not reading that book. We are, instead of reading it, we're grabbing things that have germinated, little sperm-like germs over here, and putting them where they belong for God in heaven to grow them into a multitude of each one of these a cucumber plant producing cucumbers. Now, to increase our likelihood of success, we're using multiples of them in each potter or planter. So we get each planter, and we pick the ones that have been, we might let them go a little bit further and before we go, but we basically just want to make sure that we've got something that's germinating and looks like it is a performer. Okay, we don't want the non-performers, so we're just avoiding those. So there you go. That's the whole purpose of germinating them before you put them in the planter, and then there's no guarantee that it's going to actually work. So we're not going to waste a pot. In other words, we're not going to waste a pot on something that's not strong. So if it doesn't even like this soil, it's not going to like what's coming. We can also take our golden crookerneck squash over here, our winter-ish squash, and we're going to take that, do the same procedure. It's a different plant. We're going to take our squash and we're going to label it. Boom. Keep everything organized in that section. That will be our cucumber section. Oops. And then we will have our squash section over yonder, right? So by keeping everything nice and labeled, we know where stuff is, right? So I probably have to go and pick this stuff up again. So obviously without water this isn't going to work, it's not going to grow, so we have ourselves our watering bottle made out of a ranch dressing thing, and that allows us to do like a little bit of water, and of course we pre-water it in order to soak the soil because a moist sponge absorbs more than a dry sponge does. So we're going to pre-moisten it before we actually water it. And of course we're going to sprinkle a little bit of the magic fairy dust on top of these little bitty germs borrowed from another pot. Magic fairy dust makes everything grow, and of course God will take over from there. So I think I have less squash seeds that are germinated here, so I will take a couple of them and put them into, I've pre-set up 4 pots. I'm just going to plop them into those 4 pots. Grab them up. Anything that has a tail is a winner, right? So each one of these is going to get a chance to fight it out, duke it out for space in the world. And we want those who are strongest. The strongest will survive and be victorious over those who are inferior and incapable of growing in this medium, this particular medium, in this particular environment. Of course, if it's best adapted for the environment, it will thrive and God will love it. Okay, so God loves that one. We're going to give that a pot. And but it's going to be a death match against the other one here. And so each one has to earn its keep and fight it out, even in this little teeny tiny drinking cup pot. A little more of the magic fairy dust on top, and bury it, keep it from the light, and let it, we'll propagate the genes at the end of the season. We'll propagate the genes of the ones that were most successful. Keep those. And a tiny bit of water to go around for